My name is Anisa Haji Mohammed, the founder of Asal Apps. At our company, we address the unique challenges faced by the sub-Saharan African population in the United States. We provide culturally relevant digital tools and solutions. Now, I want you to think, what is life like for an African diaspora in the United States? Well, let me give you a glimpse through a poem. We carry red sand in the cracks of our heels, tuck 2 continents into the gaps of our teeth, devoured one language, was too full to taste the other. We smell like cumin and apple pie, too fellow for here, 2 miles for there, are far too soft-spoken, wear black even in the summer, wear lipstick even to the mosque. We miss a moonlight we have never danced under. The vivid imagery in Diasporic Dancer captures the essence of over 2.1 million sub-Saharan African immigrants in the US. They hail from East, West, and South Africa and are contributing richly to the fabric of American society with significant economic impact and strong community ties. Our focus at Asal Apps is on the Ethiopian and Somali communities, which are 546,000 in population, but we plan to expand to other communities. The younger generations of this population, often 1.5 and second generation, navigate a very complex landscape. And even though they're highly educated and employed, they face invisibility in the digital markets. This younger group also faced unique challenges such as language loss, cultural disconnection, and identity crises, leading to negative social outcomes. These issues create a pressing need for supportive cultural tools. Current solutions include costly overseas trips, university courses, and tutoring. However, these come with a big price tag and also can cause traumatizing experiences and culture shock for many people. In the app world, African languages are pretty much invisible. An example of this is Duolingo, which has 3 fake or constructed languages and only provides 2 African languages. Our solution, we want to create a line of educational apps under the umbrella of Asal Apps that incorporates the best features and insights from customers, research, and lessons from previous successful community projects and products that we have created. Asal Apps are created to be fun, culturally rich, and designed to reinforce positive cultural identity. Features include multilingual lessons, interactive games, cultural stories, and community forums designed to foster connections and cultural pride across diverse age groups. We target a significant market with a $353 million potential among 2.1 million sub-Saharan immigrants, and an estimated 6.2 million in revenue by 2027 just by continuously tapping into the Ethiopian and Somali communities. Our team is one that combines expertise, experience, and previous success with our target communities. I am a linguist, deeply invested in diaspora cultural advocacy. I'm also a TED Talk speaker. My co-founder Duran Ali is a former software engineer at Zen Business, and he brings extensive reach among the global diaspora with a community of over 30,000 Somali engineers on his platform. Our previous projects have shown impressive market validation. For example, Kalsoni Somali and English affirmation cards sold over 1,000 decks at $30 per deck. Additionally, the Luqad language platform attracted more than 834 active learners, highlighting the demand for educational tools that resonate culturally. These successes showcase the potential impact and acceptance of Asal Apps in the community. Our upcoming milestones include leveraging the best features and insights from Kalsoni cards and Luqad to develop a new line of apps under the Asal Apps banner, set for release starting January 2025. Asal Affirmations, our MVP product, operates on a subscription basis with flexible pricing, including monthly, semi-annual, and annual plans. We anticipate rapid growth with projected revenues expected to increase from $891,000 in 2025 to over $6 million in 3 years, and this is fueled by our strategic marketing and development efforts. Our growth strategy involves leveraging electronic word of mouth, implementing aggressive TikTok campaigns, conducting targeted radio advertisements, sponsoring key cultural events, and running dynamic campaigns, all supported by our very large social media following. Please scan this QR code to stay updated about our app launches and other products. By liking, commenting, and resharing our content, you are helping us increase our reach and impact. Mahad Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mei Li Yang, and I'm a writer, performer, educator, and new entrepreneur. When I was growing up, this was how Asian Americans were portrayed in the United States. We were sex objects, sidekicks, nerds, and villains. Even people of color have asked, are Asians people of color? Where was there room for us to tell our own stories in our own words? I want to create a world where Asians in the United States don't have to fight to be seen, where they don't have to educate people about their culture, where they can just show up as they are. At Mayhem Games, we create card and board games that elevate Asian Americans from sidekicks to heroes so they can power up on the tabletop and in real life. So why games? No one wants to go to another empowerment workshop. But do you know what people want to do? Laugh, hang out, have fun. There is a growing body of research that shows board games can have a positive impact on individuals and groups. Additionally, our games can be a pathway to important discussions. In 2023, card and board games generated $200 million in revenue. Do you remember the game Cards Against Humanity? When the game launched in 2011, it sold 87,000 units. Over the last 15 years, it has made $500 million. You may not have heard of Asian Flush, a comedy-based drinking game for Asian Americans. In year one, it made $440,000. By year two, it eclipsed $1 million. And there is an opportunity to make money with an Asian American audience who has historically been ignored and underserved. Even though the average Asian American makes more money than the average white man. Facts. US Census Bureau. Currently, there are 21 million Asians in the United States. If each person purchased a game for $30, that's a yearly revenue of $630 million. We believe we can capture 1% of this market within 5 years. Our customer is between 31 and 41, old enough to have experienced oppression and young enough to want to do something about it. She likes to host get-togethers and often introduces friends, family, and coworkers to new foods and experiences. Our first offering is Clapback, the Asian American edition, which is a party game about using comedic comeback lines to stand up for yourself. Here's how it works. One player will draw a microaggression card from the deck of oppression. For example, "You're so articulate." Sounds like a compliment, right? It's not. And the other players compete to see who can offer the best clapback. For example, "I know, right? And that's what happens when you're smart." And my personal favorite, "F you." The winner is the person who has the wittiest comeback line. This game will be sold in November 2024. In 2025, we'll launch Clapback, the Workplace Edition, which is for anyone, anywhere. And we will publish more board games every year thereafter. So far, Mayhem Games has entered into a brand partnership with Funny Asian Woman Collective, also known as FOC, to prototype our game, and we play tested it in several locations. We plan to launch Clapback on November 1st, 2024, right in time for the holiday season, as well as the FOC Super Show, which brings in close to 1,000 audience members. We expect to sell 3,000 games by the end of this year. In year two, we will implement a vigorous marketing campaign leveraging Asian American influencers and community groups to reach $800,000 in sales, just like our predecessor, Asian Flush. So, why Mayhem Games? We center Asian Americans in our products. We turn trauma into laughter. We curate creative teams that reflect the community. We give back to the community, literally. 5% of our profits go back into causes that help Asians thrive in the United States. If my story resonates with you, buy a game today ahead of our November 1st launch date by going to this link. If it does not resonate with you, but you still want to support my business anyway, also follow the link, because I'm always looking for allies who can do any of the following: offer insights on distribution and marketing, or just donate money. It's the best way to get rid of your guilt. Thank you.
I'm Hagai Simon, and I'm an ADHD coach with ADHD. Something many people don't know about ADHD is that we also suffer from rejection-sensitive dysphoria, which means we chronically avoid rejection. The typical ADHD college experience is that you forget to do your homework, so you feel too ashamed to show up for class, missing lectures and failing exams until you inevitably withdraw both socially and academically. So it's no surprise that in spite of having an extremely well-researched disorder, students with ADHD are more likely to take extra years to finish college and have an expected graduation rate of just 5% compared to 41% of our peers. Imagine having a PhD worth of student loans and no degree to show for it. I'm building a homework management app called Did It that disrupts procrastination and engages the ADHD brain by leveraging the most cutting-edge advancement in behavioral science and habit-forming technology. When I interviewed ADHD students to find out what, if anything, actually helps them get homework done on time, every single time it was because a friend or classmate asked them about that homework, which made them feel engaged with, so they committed to doing the assignment and got it done. And this is supported by countless empirical studies in behavioral psychology in a variety of contexts, from public health to UX design, from environmental activism to addiction psychology. Social commitment changes behavior. So after I did this research, I built this web app to help me easily schedule reminders to my partner B, so the reminders come from them and not me. Whenever I think of something I need to do later, I just enter what, when, and where, and then it sends them a text at the right time, and they come and tell me. Did It will help students use this same system to get their homework done. They enlist the help of a friend who we will send reminders to engage them about new homework assignments when they're assigned. And the student commits to when, where, and how they're going to complete the assignment. From there, Did It keeps the student organized, focused, and motivated all semester long so they can graduate on time. So as an ADHD coach, part of my job is to help my clients make the best of what's available to them. Cognitive behavioral therapy is an effective treatment for ADHD, but it seems like every therapist is booked out for the next 100 years. We're also experiencing a national stimulant shortage. If you're struggling with writing, you can at least use ChatGPT until you're expelled for academic dishonesty. And what none of those solutions do is get you to pull out your backpack. ADHD coaches are in high demand because we actually do engage with students, but coaches can be prohibitively expensive for the majority. Did It, on the other hand, will have an immediate impact and is accessible to every ADHD student. How many students, you ask? 1 in 6. More and more people are getting diagnosed with interest in ADHD and ADHD solutions skyrocketing in recent years. There are over 3 million TikToks tagged #ADHD, and Google searches for apps for ADHD increased by over 400% since 2020. I'm currently building a prototype of Did It and applying for multiple research grants. The hope is to spend 2025 fundraising and beta testing with a cohort of students from a local university partner. So Did It is ready for a full-scale launch in 2026. We will offer both monthly subscriptions for students at $12.99 a month and annual licenses for colleges and universities. The US educational consulting and educational software markets are a combined $4.3 billion market. There are 20 million college students in the United States, and while only 3 million of them have ADHD, over half of all college students struggle with severe procrastination. To reach those students, we will create and distribute educational ADHD content through social media to drive leads to our student community Discord server. I have also connected with a few ADHD influencers on TikTok who are excited to be able to share Did It with their followers once it's available. We expect to break even with 90,000 users in 2027, with expectations to reach a user base of over 720,000 students by 2030, with an annual recurring revenue of $72 million. You can help ADHD students today if you know of any opportunities for early funding or have connections to specialists in codeless prototyping or experts and thought leaders in ADHD and education spaces. Thank you.
You're looking at a 4th-generation farm kid whose great-grandparents bought their first parcel of land back in 1914. They bought 20 acres, and today that farm is over 180 acres, and the old country road that runs right down the middle of the farm is still in operation. It's called Route 1. It stands as a lasting symbol of family values like hard work, integrity, clean food, and a connection to our planet. But unfortunately, this is not the way the story goes for most farmers of color here in the US. According to Reuters, families of color have lost over 16 million acres of farmland since 1900. This equates to over $326 billion in lost generational wealth. This is a multifaceted problem, as less access to farmland means less access to nutritious food and a perpetual decline in health equity. So what's our solution? At Route 1, we believe that if given the proper amount of support and resources, farmers of color can A, grow a profitable farm enterprise, and B, they can grow enough culturally relevant food to feed their communities. So how do we do it? Route 1 serves as a food hub for farmers of color, and we target companies that are at least 500 employees to distribute our produce. The focus of our revenue generation is on our Community Supported Agriculture Program, otherwise known as a CSA. However, we also partner with our corporate accounts through their cafeteria, through their charitable foundation, and lastly, through volunteer opportunities out at our farm. When companies make the decision to partner with Route 1, they not only help to foster healthier employees, healthier communities, but also they help to increase revenue that goes back to the farmers, therefore ultimately increasing generational wealth within communities of color. With our laser focus specifically on our CSA model, the total addressable market in the US exceeds $3 trillion per month. However, our more serviceable market here in Minnesota is approximately $55.6 million per month. In the next 24 months, we believe that we can conservatively capture approximately 2%. This equates to $1.1 million per month in top-line revenue. Because of the sheer numbers, these market share goals not only include produce sourced from Black and brown farmers, but Route 1 believes that it can help to open up new markets for the entire Minnesota local farming community. Our forecast calls for steady, predictable growth over the next 24 months, with the goal of approximately 3,500 new members every 6 months. Within the current landscape, the most closely aligned competitors are these large-scale food distribution houses that truck produce from across the country. Route 1's unique value proposition gives us the ability to grow and deliver hyper-local produce, oftentimes harvested and delivered in the same day. That value proposition is bolstered even further when we include our shipping container freight farm operation. This technology gives us the ability to grow over 200 pounds of fresh produce 365 days a year in an 8x40-foot shipping container. In 2024, we're entering our second growing season and coming off our first pilot season with monumental success. Last year, we were able to secure over 16 strategic partnerships, over $160,000 in non-dilutive investment, and we supported 31 Minnesota farm families. Thus far in 2024, we've been able to capture over $250,000 in non-dilutive investment, and in the last 60 days, we've been able to capture our first 4 large corporate accounts. Our Route 1 team is poised and ready for the challenge with over 90 years of combined corporate experience. And with your help, we believe that we can make a significant impact on our community over the next 24 months. So what's our ask? We'd like your help in connecting with at least 50 Minnesota-based executive leaders who are willing to help us connect with their company. This is a movement, my friends, and with your help, we can not only help to support local Minnesota farmers, we can increase health equity, and we can increase generational wealth, not only within communities of color, but within all communities across our great state. Thank you.
Poor health outcomes, crime, and exploitation could be prevented if local governments and community organizations could engage our most vulnerable people. Governments and organizations have existing resources to prevent these problems. However, they go underutilized, especially by our Spanish-speaking community. ¿Por qué? 3 barreras existen. Barriers like language, tool mismatch, and trust prevent our community from accessing the resources they need. Governments and organizations speak English, emails, and websites. Our community speaks Spanish, word of mouth, and WhatsApp. And the biggest barrier our community faces is trust. Why trust? Because it's a new landscape and stakes are high for people with immigration barriers. Signing up for a wrong program could cause huge problems like being deported. And that limits our community in accessing resources that they do have access and the right to. And that's where we come in. Raíces Latinas connects Spanish speakers to public and community resources through our platform. We leverage WhatsApp, our community's preferred platform, our cultural expertise, and trust to increase public participation. Our groups are moderated by resource experts, divided by geography. This can be a zip code, neighborhood, city, or school district. And the people who want to join our groups are usually the decision makers over the family's well-being, like a mom or a grandma, that want to connect to important and necessary resources that they can't find elsewhere. Participants in the group can access the information when it's convenient for them and at opportune times for them to make decisions. And if they have any questions or need additional reassurance, we can support them along the way. Unlike other methods government entities have used in the past, Raíces Latinas connects with Spanish speakers where they are. Our community has let us know that Facebook, flyers, radio, and commercials aren't as effective. Because Facebook is a platform used for gossip, it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake news, and passwords are a mess. With radios, you can't access the information when you need it, and commercials are often irrelevant to you. Flyers get lost and don't send reminders. And most importantly, none of them communicate trust like we do. Our geographically centered groups work, as information is relevant and curated for the members in each group. And our success so far means clients trust us too. They trust us to increase participation in their programs. For example, a health clinic might not think to emphasize that they accept medical assistance, so we do that, because we know that is top of mind for our families. Likewise, many agencies ask people to register online for their programs. And we know that that's a huge barrier and it actually drives down participation. So we step in to support with the sign-up process and send reminders. In our Latino concept of time, what matters most is what's happening now. Like in 2023, we promoted our first resource fair just 10 days prior to the event and had close to 500 people show up. The 30 organizations who participated had never seen anything like it. By maximizing resources, organizations can get allocated more funds, increased budgets, and improve the quality of life for their families. We have had organic growth since we began in 2022, with no social media or online presence. This year, we have 15 clients, and our average contract has increased in amount from last year. We are seeing accelerated growth in both terms of clients and participation in our groups. We have identified 400 potential clients just in the Twin Cities and have a wait list of people wanting to join our groups. The future is bright for Raíces Latinas. The median age of Latinos is 24 compared to 38 overall in Minnesota. Our community is young, and we are or will be having children soon. And our services are most used by caregivers who are responsible for their children's well-being. We are seeing an influx in newly arrived families from Latin America, and governments, community organizations will need help in connecting with their Spanish-speaking families. With Raíces Latinas, everyone wins. We are a trusted and responsive support for community members and agencies, and we improve quality of life for everyone. If you know any organization who needs support in connecting with their Spanish-speaking community, our experts would love to connect and address the best pathways to do so. We look forward to connecting with you. Thanks.
Meet Adam. He's an HR executive at a large tech company. Adam is extremely stressed out, as you can see. He's leading an organization that struggles with poor communication, and they're experiencing a lot of staff turnover. Adam hired us to help, and we used Emotional Intelligence Improv, or EQ Improv for short. EQ Improv is a specialized training method that uses acting it out to boost emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills in the workplace. In one session, Adam and his team participated in scenarios where they had to navigate a high-pressure project deadline without resorting to conflict. The twist? They had to talk through the scenarios as though it was real life, because it was. This exercise gave them better ways to communicate and shed light on issues that led to conflicts in the past. They practiced new communication techniques in a brave yet playful space where people got to be honest without any repercussions, leading to a high sense of belonging. How does EQ solve the issue between the diverse workforce and our HR leaders or our capacity builders? Well, we know that the huge problem here is turnover. And it shows up through the recruitment and retention process. Both employees and leaders care about this issue. For our diverse workforce, our employees experience a lack of engagement. This is because there's minimal participation in team activities and decision making, reducing overall productivity. They also experience unfair treatment, and that leads to a lack of opportunity to grow in the company. For our capacity builders, these are our HR leaders, and they experience difficulty in obtaining executive backing for new initiatives, hindering innovation. They also experience engagement and retention issues, struggling to implement effective strategy to keep talent and maintain high performance. As you can see, both parties struggle with a lack of communication. This is a misunderstanding that leads to frustration and confusion. And when there's a lack of engagement, people leave. Our capacity builders, as you can see, are highly motivated. They see the need and know the benefits of retaining a diverse and inclusive workforce. They're also extremely empathetic. They focus on employee well-being to reduce turnover and attract top talent. They're also our change agents. These are folks pushing the envelope in leadership to enhance the company's adaptability. Our capacity builders know two things to be true. One, inclusive teams are 35% more productive. And when there's a high sense of belonging, we know that that's linked to 56% increase in job performance, a 50% drop in turnover risk, and a 75% reduction in sick days. Most folks invest in the average professional development training. That's not good because people do not get to connect with one another. They don't get to understand one another and see where each other is coming from. Hi, I'm Brittany Clausen. I'm the organizational therapist. I'm a social worker, pre-licensed mental health therapist, and I have over 10 years of consulting experience. And we've created EQ Improv. This is a solution to retain quality talent and diverse employees. This EQ Improv navigates relatable workplace challenges through acting it out. Based on the model, we can increase collaboration and communication, increase employee engagement, increase productivity through creativity. This helps us to attract quality talent and retain employees, thus creating overall a healthy workplace culture. There's about $25 billion in the HR consulting industry. Companies spend about $64 million in professional development trainings each year. We plan to secure 72 clients in our first year. In the first year, we plan to do $216,000 in revenue, $244,000 in the following year, and $272,000 by year 3. Our ask for you today is to scan this QR code and send to 5 capacity builders in your network. Help your colleagues make more money and experience less company headaches. Thank you.
The Star Tribune ran an article a while back entitled "The Twin Cities Man and His Dying Wish." Steve Wheeler was navigating a terminal illness, and grappling with the reality of his own death, he found comfort in the idea of leaving the world just a little better than he found it. For this reason, Steve wanted a green alternative to conventional burial and cremation. What he really wanted was a process called natural organic reduction. While he was able to make that happen, his body had to be flown all the way to Washington State to realize his vision. Testing the sustainability of the process and taking Steve physically away from his family while they were in the midst of grieving. My name is Eric Hallis, founder of Live On Minnesota, where we bring new life through death by offering Minnesotans the opportunity to have a net positive impact on the environment in their passing. We'll do this by offering access to natural organic reduction right here in Minnesota. Natural organic reduction is the transformation of the body into nutrient-rich compost. In short, the body is laid into a vessel surrounded by natural materials like straw, wood chips, and wildflowers. And through the magic of time, the natural microbial process breaks down the body in roughly 2 months, resulting in a cubic yard of nutrient-rich compost. The compost can then be used to plant a tree in memory of your loved one, to support a thriving private garden, or contribute to broader restoration efforts across the state of Minnesota. In alignment with Steve's interests, it uses 1/8 the energy of alternatives and saves 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide emissions per person. In addition to the environmental benefits, the process itself is beautiful. Known by some as gentle cremation, the body is laid into a bed of natural material and surrounded by wildflowers and letters from loved ones. Though it may seem strange, interest in this process is not unique to Steve. 64% of Americans demonstrate an interest in green alternatives, and nearly 1,000 people use this process in Washington since its legalization in 2019, where 3 facilities are operating at capacity and unable to meet consumer demand. 10 states have legalized the process, and over a dozen more have proposed legislation, including the great state of Minnesota, which recently passed legislation with an implementation date of July 1, 2025, a movement that we are very proud to have helped coordinate over the past year and a half. While providing this option is the right thing to do, it is also good business. The funeral industry presents a $20 billion market, over $300 million in Minnesota alone. With over 70% of Minnesotans opting for cremation, often as a default alternative, we're looking to capture less than 1% of the metro cremation market, leading to a $2 million annual revenue in our first facility with multiple vessels. So how do we get there? 1 vessel at a time. Each vessel has an average turn rate of 40 to 50 days, meaning we can serve about 6 folks in each vessel annually. With a cost right between the cost of cremation and conventional burial at about $6,500, each vessel sees about $40,000 in revenue per year. We hope to build towards a 50-vessel facility, reaching the goal of $2 million annually, but more importantly, seeing a reduction of over 300 tons of CO2 emissions each year. While we're leveraging new technology, we hope to build on generations of experience and community presence, working hand in hand with locally owned funeral homes across the metro. We're also hoping to be Minnesota-made. Our initial prototype was developed in partnership with mechanical engineering students at the University of Minnesota. And we're hoping to build on this effort through the production of 3 operating vessels to test in advance of the 2025 implementation date. We can't do this without you, folks committed to green alternatives in life and in death. If you're interested in this topic, are in the midst of planning for yourself or a loved one, or simply want to learn more, sign up for information at liveonmn.com, where you can connect, learn, and live on. If you're interested in supporting the development of our prototype, join us for an upcoming co-creation session and learn how your investment in Live On Minnesota can help change the future of the death care industry. Thank you.
Spatial sound and music is at the forefront of the neuroarts revolution. Neuroarts is the exciting intersection of neuroscience and artistic practice, where major discoveries and breakthroughs are transforming the ways we approach mental health and healing. According to Pew Research, 90% of Americans feel that we are in a mental health crisis, and the most common solutions or treatments are often contributing further harm. Numerous studies show that time spent in nature greatly benefits our mental health, and yet we are more disconnected from nature than ever. We need new solutions. I'm James Everest. I'm a composer and designer and part of a new wave of neuroartists working on new ways of tackling old problems. Through my own personal recovery from a traumatic brain injury and my mom's journey with Alzheimer's, I've experienced firsthand and been inspired by the incredible healing power of music and sound and its potential for treating many neurological conditions. And now, new technology has made it possible for me to compose and deliver music in a whole new way as a new kind of medicine for our times. Over the past 9 years, I've developed a new immersive model for spatial music that I call sound gardens. Recent technologies such as wireless Bluetooth speakers allow me to play with spatial sound and integrative design in ways that weren't possible just 10 to 15 years ago. And the results have been remarkable. Through over 100 public events and demonstrations, I've collected hundreds of testimonials from participants that attest to the transformative healing power of these immersive experiences. Sound gardens feature music that is composed in 3D, delivered through 15 to 80 different speakers, embedded in nature, each playing a different part of the whole piece of music. These custom spatial compositions then create a dynamic spatial environment that attunes us to the present moment and helps keep us there as we move through space and as sounds move around us. It's a form of meditation that quickly calms the nervous system while activating our senses on a deeper level. My sound gardens are part of the growing industry of sound therapy, currently a $2 billion global market with $600 million in North America, where we're focused. As more and more people seek mental health solutions that are not pharmacological or screen-based, the sound therapy market is projected to grow at a nearly 8% rate over the next 8 years. Our target market is clearly already spending in this sector, and we feel that with increased awareness and scientific data proving their neurological benefits, sound gardens can effectively break into this market. Through a multi-stage strategic plan for customer acquisition that begins with finding research partners and a host site for a permanent installation, and continuing to produce and present live sound garden demo events. We are currently in conversations with a wide variety of potential strategic partners to build and host permanent site prototypes where we can design research and environments to measure the impacts and benefits of these experiences. Over the next 5 years, we anticipate our primary revenue sources to shift from temporary live demo events to permanent installations to simple, user-friendly sound garden kits that can be easily deployed in a range of contexts and settings. Imagine a world in which everyone, your elderly grandmother in assisted living or memory care, your anxious screen-addicted kids in the midst of their school day, and you in the midst of a hectic workday, can spend time in a sound garden and come out feeling more connected and grounded. We are seeking to build an advisory board as well as institutional partners and funding to design and develop permanent sound garden installation prototype sites where research, data, and iteration can build awareness, demand, and shovel-ready designs. I hope you'll join us. Thanks.